So, I may or may not have got myself an Oculus Rift. And this is Blade and Sorcery. As you can see, this is my character, and as I move my hands around, which are actually holding the grips, and I can actually make fists and move them around and punch the glass and stuff, although it doesn't actually do much. You can't actually see me, but I'm actually standing there wearing a VR headset and doing some very silly actions right now, including some taekwondo shit or something. I don't know. But anyway, you probably don't want to see that. What you really want to see is me kill some shit with swords and shit. So let's go somewhere. Now this is early access, there's only sandbox and survival modes in the game at the moment, so let's load one right now, shall we? So in survival mode, these pillars will appear with 3 weapons on them, and you choose one of them, and as soon as you choose one they all disappear, so I'm going to choose the rapier. Now it's a very simple rapier, it hasn't really got any extra guard rings around the knuckles, but it's got the standard quillons and these little finger rings on the front. It's not the nicest rapier in the world, but it's a decent looking blade. And these guys will come one at a time, these gladiator guys, hence why they're dressed very silly, and I just basically have to kill them by stabbing them in the face or something. Oh, the rapier's so overpowered in this. But the sword actually moves around as I move my hand, and it actually uses real blade physics. So like, if I'm holding it somewhere and someone swings at me, it will actually block. And I can actually deflect and parry and all sorts of things. Although the rapier, you're probably best just getting out of the way and stabbing him in the face, because you literally can one-shot just about everything. Or in the throat. And yeah, they'll just keep spawning opponents until he gets to the end, and sometimes if you disarm them they'll try and run, which is better than dying, I suppose. Yeah, the actual attacking AI isn't great. They do quite often do these big attacks and leave themselves wide open, which is not what you want in a real fight, obviously. But you know, it's early access, so maybe that'll get better. Ow! What, are you not dead? How are you not dead? Okay, now you are. So I'm just going to keep stabbing you in the arms, and then you go and pick up an axe and carry on fighting despite being stabbed in both arms. Really? Well, you know, it's a game. It's so much fun though, it really is great to work off some steam. Because like, I'm literally standing here like full-on fencing stance right now and like actually pretending to stab people in real life while I actually does it in the game. It's just so cool the way the weapons move as you move your hand. You can actually use them like real weapons. So at the end of each round it'll spawn 3 more weapons and you have to choose another one. You don't have to use that weapon, but once you choose one, the rest of them will all disappear, and everything else except what you've got in your hands will disappear. So, and yeah, the waves get progressively harder. So now we've got 2 people attacking me at once, and now we've got archers and magic users, which are annoying. And that is what happens when you do big Hollywood spinning attack. You get stabbed in the back before you even finish. Yep, there's an archer right over there. Luckily they're not very good archers, and if I move sideways a bit they won't be able to hit me. And that person behind me is a magic user who just threw a fireball at me, so got to deal with those as well. Now you can actually block the fireballs, and I can actually bat them back at each other. And I'll see if I can show you some of that later on. You can literally just walk into them with that. Also, I don't think that rapier will be able to block that big heavy flange mace either. And if all else fails, just keep whacking them until they bleed to death. Oh, I worry about myself sometimes, I really do. I don't think so. Oh god, stab him in the back. They're okay at parrying, it's just when they attack, they just do a swing and then they leave themselves open for so long. Ah. Oh, you're not dead. Meanwhile, you still can't hit anything with that bow. And here's another thing, see, they're shooting electricity at me and I'm just, like, catching it on my blade, and the blade actually keeps it, so you can actually do extra damage while the blade gets all this static charge all over it. Well, that's what I like about this, you can actually parry properly. And you can actually knock their blades out of the way and all kinds of things in this. It's the closest I've seen to proper sword fighting yet. It's like Mount and Blade but in VR, almost. Yay, more fireballs. It's okay, they trip over all the bodies of people lying around. I would be honourable, but you're doing magic and shit. I love how you can do that. Ow. Right, you're gonna die for that. Okay, and now we have another rapier. Honestly, they are random. It just keeps giving me the weapon I happen to like the most. Well, actually, it's not. The longsword is. I'll show you that later. And we've got 2 daggers. Can I have one of your daggers? Yes, rapier dagger style. Trouble is now I've got 3 on me now. Another thing that can happen is your weapons can actually get stuck in the bodies, so when you kill them, if you're not careful, you can end up losing it as it just ends up trapped in the body and it falls out of your hand and then you're disarmed. They really are the worst archers ever, aren't they? Now my blade's on fire. Fire damage! Trouble is, when there's 3 of them, it's very difficult to focus on one. And I just try to keep them all in front of me so they don't get behind me. Yeah, that's another thing that can happen. They can actually hit their own people. They'll just stab her in the nose. Hey, how did that hit? And that is why you don't shoot into a melee. Because you hit your own people. Oh, these magic users are too easy to kill. Okay, what shall we have next? Rapier buckler time. No, I dropped my buckler. Are we on 4 yet, or is it still just 3? Yeah, it looks like it's still 3. Once you start fighting 4 or 5 people at once, it gets really hard. I think you're already the Norman kite shield, do you? It's funny when you can get them to hit their own people. I think it's not quite the same watching it on a screen as it is actually doing it. Because like when it's in VR, you can see all of this all around you, like right in front of you. Why can't I put my buckler away? Oh right, because I've got a dagger there. So I'm going to drop the dagger and stow the buckler instead. I think I'll take the quiver because then I can just keep it for later, but I don't actually... So they give you a bow and a quiver, but like you can't use the bow without any arrows, so I'm going to have to take the quiver. No, not one arrow, the quiver! There we go, and I just want to holster that. You don't have to use the weapon that they give you, you just have to pick one. Which is a good job really, because I couldn't do much with just either a bow with no arrows or a quiver of arrows with no bow. The foes are getting more numerous. See, watch when this girl with a shield attacks. Or this guy next to her. See, he moves his shield right out the way. Like, why? That is not how you fight with a shield. I wish their attacks were a bit better. A bit more... bit more intelligent. She just literally just walked onto my blade. Ow. Shoot this guy in the back with your own magic fireballs. I've seen it before, you can actually bat them back and hit the person with it. Like bat their own fireballs back at them. And I'm taking way too many hits here. Dropped my buckler! Give it back! Okay, what have we got now? I'm nearly dead, as you can see. But I want to try the spear. Now this is going to be interesting. Because the other nice thing you can do with this is you can actually use two-handed weapons in two hands. Trouble is, it's difficult to use a spear to fight like a dozen people at once. And especially as it's hard to actually thrust accurately, so I end up just hitting them with the wings on the fucking winged spear. I'll just keep stabbing you with the wings. Okay, this guy's gotta die. Ah, take that. It's harder when they've all got shields as well. Luckily they can't actually work together very well. Maybe I should do the mountain blade attack and swing the spear overhead like it does with the spears and the pike in Mountain Blade Warband. I will stab you with my long spear. Yeah, spears like that were made to be used in blocks, really. Not by one person trying to take on the entire fucking group of people with a kite shield and everything. I mean, it can be done, I suppose, but it's but it's difficult. And to be fair, spears are great weapons, just because they got the reach. And they're relatively cheap to make, like for... Ah, I'm trapped. For like the cost of a dozen swords you can make... The cost of one sword you can make a dozen spears. For the steel required to make that many swords. And they're great weapons for use in the battlefield. So like if you've got enough steel to make one sword, you can instead make a dozen spears and have a much more effective spear block than one swordsman. And just stab that guy in the face. I'm just trying to keep all of them in front of me. It's hard when they just all come from all different directions. Oh, I'm dying! I need a potion! Oh. And I'm dead. With your jumping, spinning, double axe attack. Okay, just want to show you something else that's pretty cool in this game. If we grab the axe for a minute. So you notice the hook on the axe here, which is pretty typical of Danish axes of that time. That's actually made to hook shields. And guess what? You actually can do that in this. You can actually hook shields with the axe and pull them out of the way, although it's probably not the best idea if you've only got an axe. I just want to see if I can hook this person's mace. And yeah, that can happen if you're not careful. I have a dual wield, an axe and a mace. No, I won't. I will chuck one of them in the well. I love how you can do that. Hey, I want that sword. I'd like that sword. Okay, that was not the best idea. Oi, I'm trying to pick up this guy's sword here. Let's go sword and buckler style. The weapons in this are all very, very good looking, very proper historical weapons. No crazy, big, massive swords with unfucking pommels with handles that you can't actually grip anything with. They all look really good. Mr. Person with a round shield. Can I have that round shield? See if I can grab it. See, this is how you fight with a shield. You keep it in front of you so that it can block all the incoming attacks. You don't throw it behind you as you do a big, mighty swing like they were doing. And if you spin around like that, you're just going to get hit in the back. See, you're not keeping your shields up. Oh crap, I dropped my sword. Okay, it's a sword. Oh, bloody hell. Yay, and I'm holding the axe the wrong way round. Trouble is you can't just adjust with this. Okay, let's have a bit of fun, shall we? No, not this one. No. There we go. The longsword. Time to get my Fury on. Now in the sandbox mode you can basically choose what attacks you, so let's have progressive 1v1, where basically one will come at you at the time and they'll get progressively harder. Because we've seen enough random gladiators for a while. Trouble is when you're holding in these obscure guards like that, you can't actually see. It's very awkward to move the controllers. promise more than gladiators will start appearing after a while. Oh, this game is so much fun. Oh, you did the old duck and swing at my feet trick. Trouble is, that leaves your head vulnerable. And now we've got bandits wearing leather armour. Now, if this was an actual medieval game, I'd probably have a problem with the leather armour, but yeah, I think it's actually meant to be fantasy, so I can forgive it. It isn't historical, but it's not unfeasible, to be fair. Just that leather's quite expensive. And these guys are a bit better than the gladiators. And also that leather's quite tough to stab through. But luckily they leave their arms and everything else bare. Ah, that longsword's great fun. You can actually use it one-handed, but it's I think in the game it makes no difference, but in real life it's probably not advisable. So although the weapons are supposed to have a weight, you can still... They actually don't, because you're not actually holding anything but a Oculus Rift controller, so it's very hard to simulate that actual weight. So you can just wave them around like a fucking feather duster. But then, to be fair, European weapons are made of like 90% lead and are really heavy and cumbersome. Ah, now we're on to the knights. They're wearing mail and bevers and for some reason have their arms bare. Now they're actually considerably harder to kill because you can't actually cut through the helmets or the bever. Apart from this one who's not wearing a helmet. But like, see the see the mail over the front. Even that's quite hard to stab through. got a huge cut off his face, but he doesn't care. By the way, yes, I have tried doing a hammer blow, and you can do that. I haven't tried half swording with it. Ah, and now we're back to the gladiators. So I guess it's just going to keep cycling round now. Okay, let's try some archery. I've never actually done this before. Let's spawn a quiver. If I can equip it. How do I put it on? Oh, there's a sword there apparently, in a back scabbard. Let's have a back quiver instead. Ah, I hate back quivers. Right, let's put it on training for now, just because I've never used the bow before. And that is a very awkward angle to shoot from. You can't actually aim anything from there. It trips over the guy. Yeah, I say these guys are bad at archery. I'm not much better, clearly. I am better with the real thing, though. Honestly. I guess it's all about finding where the anchor point is on this thing. And it doesn't help that you can't draw to the ear because the helmet's kind of in the way. Or at least kiss the string. Looks like I can't put the string where I normally would put it. To be able to aim how I'd normally aim. Oh, nice. Oh, why is this so much fun? Ah, I got bigger. Oh my god. Let's try the Bardachet. This time I've just got a load of knights attacking me. Oh, you're still alive. Oh, are you still alive after that? Oh, you're seriously going to carry on fighting? Now that's gotta hurt. Oh wow, this weapon's lethal. Just toss the shield over the side. I dented your mail. And I've dented your bevel. And I've dented your face. Oh, I really worry about myself sometimes. It's just a game. It's just a game. I am not like this in real life, I promise. are you not dead yet? Oh my god. It's a brutal game, isn't it? You can chop people's arms off like that. Oh, you know what else you can do in this? You can actually pick up that severed arm and throw it at people. Oh god. What have I turned into? Anyway, this is going to keep going, so let's have some fun. Let's spawn this weapon. This is a two-bladed sword staff, which I first saw this weapon in Dungeons & Dragons 3rd edition. And, yeah, I'm not sure I'm convinced. Now, sword staffs were a thing. I think they're, not sure where they're from, but I think they were a thing. But this double-bladed sword staff just looks really impractical to me. It's such a ridiculous weapon. The sword staff itself wouldn't be a bad weapon. But like having a blade on the other end where your legs are going to go, which totally isn't going to get in the way. Just readjust my grip on this ridiculous weapon. Hello. Really, I can't stab through that leather jack that he's wearing. Right, stop getting really close and not letting me use my reach to my advantage. To be fair, that's exactly what I'd be doing if I had a shorter weapon than my opponents. See, this is the problem with this, like, this is actually, that blade is actually going through my legs, but the game doesn't actually register it. because you can't actually stab yourself with your own weapon in this. Well, no can stab through jerkin. Really? It really won't go through, will it? I will be the last, and you will go first. Wah ha ha ha! Anyway, so yeah, that's the game. And it's a whole lot of fun, and I definitely recommend it if you do have an Oculus Rift. In the meantime, let's have a rave. Big fish, small fish, big fish, small fish, big fish, small fish, cardboard box. Remember the 90s rave thing. Yep, I think that'll do for today. So yep, that is Blade and Sorcery. Bye now.